Going in 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys, woo-wee! It's on. It's on, baby. I'm just letting you know right now. You got a fire extinguisher?
I don't, but I might need to go get one.
Because this thing about to be fired.
Yeah.
We about to put a fire out today.
Yeah.
I see what's happening today. Hey, guys, if you, please, right now, I'm going to give you 20 seconds while I still talk to grab you a pen and some paper, because today, we're going deep. I brought to you, so say Frankie P, thank you. Thank you, Frankie P. But before we even jump into that, let me know, this is the BS of Entrepreneurship podcast. I'm your partner, Frankie P.
Tracy P.
And I'm getting ready to do the proper introduction in just a second, guys. But look, we have with us today, I know, well, at least I know I have, as far as thinking about businesses and opportunities, I've struggled. I don't know if you've struggled. You probably haven't struggled. So, hey, you know, it is what it is on that. But we're going to find out today what are some of the key steps, some of the processes, some of the mindsets that you would need to continue to have in your journey as an entrepreneur. And we're going to learn from one of the greats today. He's the owner of Carolina Kitchen. And I know I'm going to mess it up, so I'm going to ask him again. How do I say the pet?
Navetica, your pet's choice.
Navetica, the owner of Navetica, your best choice. Pets. Your pet's choice.
They're your best choice,
Your
too.
best choice for your pets.
And your pet's choice.
All right. We will give it up for Mr. Lance London. Man, welcome, brother. Welcome.
Great to be here.
Man,
Great to be here.
We are so excited about having you
Yes, sir.
here. So, for those who don't know who you are, and just to let you know what we're going to do, we're just going to go a little background about Lance. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes. Trust me, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. But for those who aren't familiar and know exactly who Lance London is, can you tell us who is Dr. Lance London?
Well, first of all, I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. I went to Suitland High School, then went on to go to Morgan State University.
Rams?
I went to school to be a dentist, ironically.
Wow.
But my father always talked entrepreneurship. He said, son, if you can't be a doctor or lawyer, I would love for you to be in sales. And I used to ask him, Dad, why? He said, well, the reason why I want you to be in sales, son, and I want you to repeat after me. He said, the more you sell,
The more you sell,
the more you make.
the more you make.
The more you sell,
The more you sell,
the more you make.
the more
more
like
you
I'm in
make.
class.
So he said, the great thing about being a salesperson is that no one can put a cap on your income because you can create your own income, because the simple fact that if you get into sales and marketing, the harder you work and the better your skill level. That means even if you fail, right? Even if you think you're bad, oh, I can't sell, I don't like selling anything, people say. Anything that you do over and over again, in time, you will become better. It's nothing like the feeling of when it's something that you have that you can share with others, and you can talk to that person and show them the selling points, if you will, the need for that product or service. And that person maybe walked up to you, wasn't even thinking about it, or you walked up to them and they weren't even thinking about it, but because your knowledge of that product and you brought up all the great points of why it's a need for that product within minutes. And sometimes it takes a little longer than minutes, that person goes, you know what? I want one of those. That's the greatest feeling in the world, especially if after they say, I want one of those, money comes in. You see what I'm saying? So it's nothing like sales. And when you get excited about it, and like my dad says, the more you sell, the more you make. Guess what? You can't put a cap. My dad said, and I'll share with you today, a great salesman are never one for anything. And let me tell you why. Because if you can sell, you not only can sell the things we know, like cars and homes, but you can sell yachts. You can sell land. You can sell, pretty much high-rise buildings. I was just watching something, and I should have been asleep last night because I got in from work around about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm laying, and I fell asleep, but I woke right back up after I fell asleep. And I saw this show I had never seen before, which I found to be very intriguing. It was about people that were looking to buy islands. I never have seen them doing different shows about different things, buying homes, even buying mansions, cars, and all this, but buying islands?
An island.
So that woke me right up. I was tired of it. I woke right up buying islands. Because first of all, I wanted to know, what type of person can buy an island?
Yes.
You know, you can buy a house. You with me? You can buy a car, buy a dog or a pet, but buy an island? I mean, for God's sake, you can be your own country. So I wanted to watch this show.
Yes.
And when I watched it, my first thought was, this is going to be some crazy price, because they told the price of the islands, what they cost. And I don't know, I just found myself so intrigued. I sat up for 4 hours and watched episode after episode until the sun came up. Even though I thought I was tired, but that's how much into marketing sales. And I watched the salespeople. These islands sold between 1.5 to as much as $25 million. Every show I looked at, it was crazy. It showed them 3 different islands. But it just shows you. I was more or less concentrating on the salesperson, trying to calculate, okay, how much is he making? You see what I'm saying? Because everything is for sale in America. You with me? You sold me on the idea coming here today. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We sell each and every day, but the problem is we don't get compensated for it. So find something where you utilize your natural born instinct, your natural born talent, and you do it. You say, well, I can't sell, but you sold somebody an idea of going to see a movie you saw. Does that make sense?
In touching on what you said, because Tracy and I actually had a conversation a little earlier about, and it's probably not selling, but we talked about it's selling yourself. Right. And we doing that through the questions, through the questioning. And I'm gonna be totally transparent. One of the reasons that we started this podcast was so we can meet other entrepreneurs and possibly someday in the future, network together, and we can come together and maybe buy an island. I mean, literally, those are the type of things that are going through my head. When I was watching a video and they were sharing to us that ask your friends what is their plan over the next 5 years to make $1 million or $1 billion, and if they can't tell you their plan, then you may want to leave them alone. And here's why. Because what else are you going to talk about when y'all, if you have your 5 closest network people and all you guys are trying to, how are we going to get this bag to get this billion or this next 10 million? Now you have something to talk about.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh-wee. So now let me ask you this, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs, including myself, and we talked about this. Can you share with us, how do you stay motivated and focused to obtain your goals? How do you do
Well, let me say this to everybody. I mean, that's a good question. How do you stay motivated? Because I truly believe is your life is a mirror of your constant thoughts and beliefs. The things we constantly pull into our mind, we actually formulate a thought and we act it out each and every day. So a lot of people wake up each day, like for instance, if it's raining, people are depressed. You get in that mindset, you just feel real dopey, relaxed, and you don't want. And if you're a very negative person, you're happy when it's good, it's raining. Everybody can be sad like me. You with me? You can't be like. You always have to have a great attitude. Right? Attitude as to gratitude as to the altitude in your life, right? So to keep a great mindset and thinking about what it is that you want, you're right. You have to stay focused. You can't concentrate on the problems. You got to concentrate on the solution. Why? I teach people all the time. The problem's going to happen. You got to concentrate to the solutions to the problems. Does that make sense? And I want you to understand, in the process of you staying focused about your goals and your dreams, I said your goals and your dreams. I said your goals and your dreams. Well, a dream is merely but a wish unless you write it down and start acting upon it. Does that make sense? Whatever it is that you want to happen in your life, you have to have enough mindset to sit back with yourself and say, self, let me write this down. Let me not talk about what I want. Let me write down what it is I want in a chronological order in which it's going to happen and give myself in time in which to execute this plan. For instance, I could tell 5 people, you want to make $1 million? And they say, yes, I want to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? The first person that goes from the East Coast, which in Washington, D.C., and get to California first, right? I'm going to give $1 million to, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to give $1 million to the first 2 people. And I'll start them off let's say in downtown Washington, D.C.,
Okay.
right? And they can't drive with me.
Okay.
They got to run. Now, I know it might take them some 6, 7, 8 months, but
whatever.
no, for $1 million,
$1
you put your Nikes
do what
on
we
and
have
you get
to
the
do.
move, right? So with that being said, I say, ready, set, go. Now, you know what? 4 of the 5 people might just start running west.
Absolutely.
But one person might run into 7-Eleven or might even go to the internet and find a map, a road map to strategically see the fastest way. They might have had a jump on them to get from downtown DC to LA, right? Now, once they get that, they write it down and then they follow that map, the shortcut, all the way to California. And I guarantee that person is going to get the $1 million.
Absolutely.
Right? So why don't you utilize that same theory when it comes to your life? Everybody always talking about what they want and saying what they want. So you got to stop talking about it and you got to be about it. Write down what you want. Stay focused. I can't stay focused. It's just not fair. All the things to be happening in my life. People say everything going wrong. You just don't understand. Guess what? Everybody that's successful are going through some of the same things that you want, maybe even more.
Even more.
And see, what you have to understand is this. You know what? Negativity, that's going to happen. You know, adversities, that's going to happen. Financial issues, that's going to happen. Family
Every day.
issues, that's going to
Every
happen.
day.
Guess what? Bill collectors call you, that's going to happen.
They don't
You
care.
can't stop none of that. It's all going to happen. So what you got to do is concentrate, again, on what it is that you want and take those problems and subdue them. Don't worry about them. Keep a great attitude. You got to. Because every successful person you will ever find, somebody think they're so lucky, they got it going on. No, they're just like you. But see, this truly is what success. What is success about? I'm gonna tell you. Get deep on y'all.
Come on, man. Come on.
What success is truly about, if you really, really think about it, is your ability to overcome setbacks, to overcome adversity, to overcome things going wrong in your life.
Which they will.
To overcome tragedy.
Yep.
Because all these things are going to happen to
coming.
me, you, all of us, and successful people, but you're able to suppress them and keep your eyes on the prize. So what is success about? I can tell you a variety of things of what success is supposed to be about. Once you decide what it is that you're going to get into or what you want to happen, you got to understand all these things are going to be hitting you. But understand, even setbacks is just a setup, as my good friend Willie Jolly said,
Come on, man.
for a comeback.
Come on,
Does
man.
that make sense?
Yeah.
You take that setback and you go, that happened for a reason. So if I'm saying that success and your goals, you know what? It's all encompassing things going wrong, right? So in the genetic cake, the recipe for the success cake that you're baking, right? In there is you can say it takes this, it takes that, it takes this. It's going to be a big dose of negativity, a big dose of setbacks, adversity. It's all in there. Accept it, embrace it, and don't let that stop you. If you do, you'll never, never, ever get this. So again, what is success about? And staying focused?
Come on.
It's about your ability to understand it. It's what? It's problem solving.
Somebody
It's
get a fan up in
problem
here.
solving.
Somebody
Does
get a
that
fan
make
up in here.
That's
We
all
getting it.
success is about. When you start to even become successful, and you start to somewhat get results, guess what? People are going to stab you in your back. Does that make sense?
going.
When you start to even see success, people are going to start to turn on you.
Yes.
When you start to, maybe you're feeling good and you go buy a new house or you buy a new car. And when it starts to happen, trust and feel, people you thought was your friend, they're not going to be your
they're gonna
friend
show
no
their
more.
face.
You don't have to do anything. You just became successful. You're doing what it is that they want to do, and you just had enough guts to stick to what it is you wanted to get. They didn't believe in you. They told you they did, but they said it wouldn't work, but it did work. And as it started to work, you're going to see how many friends you truly have. And what I'm saying is people that say they for you, they not really for you. You know who's for you, who's not. And you're going to find out that the more successful you get, the more problems come. And if that's the case, and the more people you're going to see their true side, right? So if that's the case, don't get emotional over it because that was supposed to happen. Does that make sense? So what is success? Success is all about you problem solving. Every day of your success journey, you got to stay focused because things are supposed to go wrong. And your ability to overcome those problems, your ability to overcome things going wrong, your ability to keep your attitude right, your ability to keep a smile on your face when maybe you should be frowning, your ability to understand, you know what, that's what this journey is about.
Yep.
Will determine whether you should make it, because God won't allow you to become successful if you can't handle the little things in life. You know, as you live your day-to-day life and you encounter problems, you might get all frowned up and balled up, want to lay in the bed, or make all kinds of excuses.
Yep.
So God is saying, you know what, if you can't handle problems at the level you
small
at
level.
now,
Come on now.
how can you
That's
handle
right.
problems when you get to the multi-million-dollar level?
It's just a
How
test
can
like
you
that.
handle problems when it comes to running something that you may be basically responsible for 50 people, 100 people, 500 people, when you can't handle problems when it's just you yourself? Understand how to handle and overcome objections and problems. Embrace them. Get excited.
All right. Oh, my.
So I want to know, how did you get to?
The mindset that he has now.
No.
This girl,
You said you went to college for dentist,
Dentistry.
and then like
What changed?
What happened?
Well,
what happened? How did
It
you
kind
get
of started early because, like I told you, my dad said, well, son, you know, I would love for you to be a doctor, a lawyer, but if you can't, I want you to be an entrepreneur or a salesperson.
Okay.
And I didn't understand. He said, the more you sell, the more you make, but your dad would be proud of you if you just become successful. I want you to be better than me. Now, my dad came from nothing, and he became something. My mom came from the good side of the railroad track. My dad came from the bad side of the railroad tracks. They got together and got pregnant with me, and they eloped because my mother's family didn't think he was good enough. So they eloped. My father said my greatest goal in life was to show her mama and her daddy that I was good enough for her. So he worked really hard, worked his way up with this company, working in the paper business. And he worked his way up to a citywide for the Washington Daily News, a director. And after that, he worked for the Star, the Washington Post. So he's in the paper business. Then he decided to get into real estate. And everything he did, he would talk about it at a table like this, but it had food on it called the dinner table. And he would talk about everything about his business. And when he got into the real estate industry, he was the only African-American in an all-Caucasian office. And I never forget going to work with him when I was a little kid. And we'd be in the car, we're going there, he said, I'm taking you to work with me today. And I went there, and my father was talking very professional. Yeah, Bob, yeah, how about that? Great day. Hey, how you doing, Steve? How are you?
Put on the face, put on the face.
When we got in the car, I looked at my father and said, Dad, why were you talking funny like that? That's not how you talk. He said, let me tell you something, son.
Come on now. Hold. Y'all get this.
It's very important to put on your right face, not be phony, because you know how I talk, son. But when you're trying to become successful, you have to put on an aura of success. So what your dad is doing is talking professional. And I want you to know, that's why I teach you to go, sir, no, sir, yes, sir. Not just when we get in front of people, but that's when we're at home too. You with me? But when we're trying to do business, I want you to be business professional. So he taught me stuff like that. And then he got into business. He started companies. But one thing my father did that stuck with me, he learned about this man. He started this business. And it started in the 60s, but he knew about it. And he would always talk about it at the dinner table. This man's name was Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc, as we both know, started something called McDonald's. And my father just loved the store. He learned it very early on. And he started to teach us at the dinner. That was his teaching spot. The table, right? When we eat dinner, he would teach us all kinds of stuff. You better pay attention when he tell you too. He said this guy started this business and he used to sell milkshake machines. And he met these guys that owned this thing called McDonald's. And I knew this before any movie. And he told me the story. And he sold them 2 milkshake machines, then 3, then 4 milkshake machines. He was intrigued by how much business because he found almost kind of like the Model T. He found a way to make hamburgers in assemblies line, and it was very successful. So he decided he wanted to be a part. And years later, these guys did not see his vision. He ended up buying McDonald's from for $3 million. But back then, it's like $35, $40 million. Does that make sense? He bought it and turned McDonald's into a national and then an international powerhouse. Son, do you know Willis Scott? I said, yes. Willis Scott, the weatherman, you see him? He said, Willis Scott's the very first Ronald McDonald. I said, what? He said, yeah, he was also the very first Bozo the Clown, right? And I was like, for real? And I said, wow, he would talk about it, and one of his good friends actually worked at the McDonald's, worked his way all up to assistant manager, worked his way up to manager, and the owner then owned, I think, about 14, 15 McDonald's, actually allowed him to be regional director, and then he ended up getting in a minority program because McDonald's was smart enough to understand if they started to take over the world, that, you know what? You know, the urban community, we see them as one of our greatest advocates. They love McDonald's.
Okay.
Why? Because we had a lot of households that it was only a mother in the house and not a father. So they didn't have time because they had to work, so they went to McDonald's to get dinner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Less than $1, I would get something.
Well, that's why we watched McDonald's commercials start back in the day. It was service your way, we speed of service, because nothing. That's how they were at first, right? Then they went from that to Ronald McDonald, the Hamburglar, right? The whatever, the Burglar, whatever, and all this other stuff. It went from that to urban commercials. Hey Leroy, where you going? I'm going to McDonald's. I got a job.
Come on, man.
And so they targeted on us, and then went from that to Latino commercials, right? And if time went past, and then people was eating, better because McDonald's actually made stuff they came with the salads and all the stuff. They one of the first to innovate, bring the breakfast before anybody. So all these things my father watched, and he talked about. His friend, meanwhile, started elevating the McDonald's Corporation and got into something called the minority program, where he could actually buy McDonald's one day. He went on to buy his first McDonald's. My father was floored.
Oh, wow.
My father said, I'm doing that too. So
Your father bought a McDonald's?
So this is what happened.
Oh, okay. Come on.
I said, Dad, what's going on? He said, well, my friend bought one, and he's doing good. I want to buy one too. So my dad, he got into the McDonald's program, and I never forget, he went through the program, was out of Chicago, and he ended up had to go into a local McDonald's. And I never forget, he was working on McDonald's on Branch Avenue in Maryland, right? And one of my friends from junior high school saw him.
Sam's Car Wash.
Right by Sam's Car. Saw him and said, your daddy must be going broke. I saw him working, flipping hamburgers.
He don't know.
I said, no, sir. I said, he's trying to buy McDonald's. He had to work every position. Like 16,000 hours or something all together. Wow. Something crazy. And he did it. Then he had to go to Hamburger University, which is in Chicago. They make you do that. So I said, Dad, why can't you just buy McDonald's?
Right.
He said, son, let me ask you something. You ever seen the McDonald's go out of business? I don't mean to make this about McDonald's, but it is because it's a good thing to model. Hey, have you ever seen the McDonald's ever go up? I said, no, sir. He said, that's right, because everybody wants to buy one. They make you get in there and pay your dues. You gotta get in there and show that you pay your dues. You know what I mean? We don't care how much money you have. The reason why McDonald's don't go out of business. We want you to go in there and put the time in to learn the McDonald's way.
Yep.
He did all that, and then it happened. He ended up, his life turned the other way, and he had a heart attack and died before he ever lived a dream. So that kind of stuck with me, that restaurant thing. So when I graduated from high school, I put in the yearbook that I'm gonna own hotels and restaurants. I didn't even remember seeing that.
Let me ask you this question. Do you still have that yearbook?
Yes, sir. Yeah. He said, I couldn't believe it that I wrote that. And the thing about it, when somebody sent me the yearbook, because I forgot I put that, I looked at that and said, wow, isn't it funny how things you think about materialize? And I also think
don't
about—
even know it.
Yep. And I'll say this just in this story right here. A lot of things that you say to yourself, if you continue to say them over and over again, no matter how crazy somebody might think they are, right? You got to believe it to achieve it. I don't pay attention to nothing besides what it is that I'm stating. Laser focus on what— I don't care how big it is. At one time, I talked in terms of being a millionaire, and I had this thing, like this band. It was a rubber band. I put it around. I said, I'm not taking it until I become a millionaire. When I became a millionaire, I cut it off.
Okay.
Then I put something and said, when I become a multi-millionaire, I had two bands. I went and got two new ones, and I cut those off, right? And then I said, when I have more than $20 million, I'm gonna cut that. I cut that one off, right? Now I put one on. Man, it's not even no fun. I want to become a billionaire.
See,
right?
Earlier we talked about that.
Right.
Billionaire or billionaire. It's just a matter of a couple of zeros.
That's right.
That's right.
Because see, at one time in America, right, it was only about somewhere around 2,000 millionaires.
Okay.
in America in like the late 70s, early 80s. Now, today, right, there's a couple, like, I think it's 2,000 billionaires every month.
Yes.
Why?
New billionaires.
New billion. So that's telling us that there are more easier ways, not because it's going to be easier, it's more ways to achieve billionaire status. So why think small? Is it about money? No, not to me. It's not.
Can't be.
It's about helping other people. Through helping other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Does that make sense? I'm gonna repeat that one more time.
Say it
Come on,
again.
man. Come
Through
on, man.
helping other people get what you want, right? I mean, they want, you get what you want. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, is it really about the money? Money comes through a natural reaction of you creating a need, but at the same time, helping other people change their lives. Does that make sense? So you might be listening to this actual podcast, which you guys are very gracious to create to help those out there. And it's something that I may have said today that might spark something. And one day you'll see me in a mall or walking down the street and say, "Hey, I saw the podcast."
Yes.
And when you said blank, blank, blank,
Yeah.
it moved me and it put me into action. Does that make sense? Again, it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do, because it matters for you to utilize something. And I'm going to share with you that one simple thing that God has all given us is called personal power. The definition of personal power is your ability to act. Your ability not to think, but to act on what it is that you want. Does that make sense? So in that process, I realized through my life, it's not about money, because nice cars and all that stuff, I've done all that. That's no. Even before that, you know, I think I only get material things just to make me feel like I'm doing something. I don't do it because I gotta flash it or I have to go show everybody. I got nice things. I don't even let anybody know.
Right.
Because that's not really what the end goal is. My end goal, well, not end goal, my goal is to create 100 millionaires. To create 100 millionaires. Some people say, well, why? Well, I told you, through helping other people get what they want, you get what you want. More importantly, I know this for a fact. If I create 100 millionaires, what am I?
Better say it again.
That
What am I?
billionaire.
If I create and help develop 100 people,
Come on there, Lan.
change their lives,
Come on there.
and that 100 individuals are now able to help their family,
Yes,
help
sir.
their church, their mama, their daddy.
Yep.
You with me? Make a better life for it, because money's not everything.
Not everything.
God is everything, but God wants us to have some money.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
God wants, it just makes life a little bit easier. If I create 100 people that are millionaire, what am I? And at the very least, if something ever go wrong with me and my finances, I got 100 people to borrow money from. Come on
that you
now.
can talk to. That you can talk to.
There you go.
now I'm going to transition and cross the street a little bit here, because I wanted to talk about some of the things that I know all entrepreneurs face, and that is fear, doubt, and risk. How, when you were coming up with even the thought process of Carolina Kitchen, what were some of the fears that you had? What were some of the risks that you took? And what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome?
You really kind of answered the question when you stated it. And what I mean by that, and I share this with everybody listening in today, to become successful, you have to be fearless. With me, I'm gonna repeat that. You have to be fearless. You know, I think that anything that you haven't done before is an element of doubt or a little bit of fear. But when it comes to something that can change your life, you have to be fearless. Whenever you did anything for the first time, you failed. Think about a little kid. The very first time a little infant goes to try to walk, a lot of people don't talk about it. 1,600 times they make an attempt before they take their first step. Wow. But the reason why they keep doing it over and over again is because that infant's mind is not developed enough to understand failure. So they had to just keep getting up and then falling back down, keep getting up and falling back down, keep getting up and falling back. And eventually they get up and they take their first and second and third step and they continue. Because think about it, the mind is so powerful that this is just some kind of test that I would do in my mind. If you put somebody in a test tube and laid them down flat, and they never seen another human being walking. And on their 21st birthday, you let them out the tube, and people came in the room on their hands and knees, and they walked up. That person would think these little things we call feet, that's too small. These knees are a lot easier. I'm gonna just crawl around. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I think I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Because there's no way I'm supposed to stand on these little things, these little feet things.
How they gonna hold me up?
These little feet things, I'll probably do something else with those, but they ain't doing no walking on them, right? So that's because we don't understand. And if I try to stand up on the feather, I'm gonna go back to my knees because that's what I know. Does that make sense? That's how powerful the mind is. We only believe what it is we think we believe based upon our fears. Does that make sense? But when you become a person that wants to be a true entrepreneur, right? You gotta be fearless. Now wait a minute. The only thing you're challenged by, or is challenging you, is basically yourself. You're the only person you can be. Don't ever compete. Don't ever look at what somebody else is doing.
Very, very true.
Don't ever look at what the man across the street or the lady across the street doing, or what they got. Everybody's on their own timeline.
That's right.
They might have did it in 5 years, it might take you 10. So what? The bottom line is, if it's a race and there's a tape with me, the bottom line is you're gonna keep running until you get to the finish line.
That's right.
And remember that the finish line, when it comes to business, is the beginning line. I'm gonna repeat that. The finish line is the beginning line.
I hope y'all got that. I hope you got that.
The reason why the finish line is the beginning line, I would say the finish line means you actually achieved what you want to achieve as it relates to success. Not fully, but you're there. You're making money. You're paying your bills. Your life is changing.
keep
You got a
going.
new house. But trust and believe.
The next one.
When you hit that finish line, that's when the real work comes.
Yeah.
Getting there was hard, but achieving a sense of staying there is 100 times harder. You know, when you get there, you got to keep it. Think about the celebrities. It looked like they was making it, right? It looked like they had everything in the world. Where they at? Where they at? Very few had a staying power of a Kevin Hart. Very few have a staying power of The Rock. There's so many more that fell by the wayside, had 1, 2, maybe 3 years of success, right? And then they gone. Because they didn't have a plan, they didn't stay focused, and they didn't understand that the finish line is the beginning line. Because that's where the hard work, staying focused, working hard, working even harder. Some people say, you know, I don't know, I got a fear of success. Again, it's just the fear that won't make me do it. It's either the fear of success or the fear of failure that make you do nothing. You gotta be fearless.
What I'm hearing you saying too, and one of the takeaways that I'm taking is fear is learned. Because when you were a child, your parents, when you fell down, they told you to get up. They didn't let you stay down. You got up. But then when you got to a place where your parents felt uncomfortable, then they told you, ho, 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 ho. You didn't know, because we're fearless as kids. We're just running anything, and our parents say, ho, 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 ho. And we don't even understand what not having fear is until we come into someone else who basically what they're doing, and I see that they're putting their limitations on us. I remember when I was a kid, I was about 12 years, 11, maybe some 10, 11 years old. My parents took me to Virginia Beach. And I looked at the pool. We were walking, we came from the beach, and we're walking over the pool, and I'm looking at that water, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think I can dive from this end and swim over to the other end, because I had already been, you know, I grew up in the DC Rex, Ridge Road. I swam all day long. Because my parents never saw me swim, as soon as we got to the water, they told me, no, you can't. But they put their limitations on me. But I knew if I got into this water, I can go straight across, and I could take 3 or 4 strokes, and I'll be to the other side. But since they were fearful, they didn't allow me to do it. And I see that happening a lot with parents. So that just
Well, that happens in business, in life. You know, when you'll feel as if you have an idea or something that you want to do. And remember, I told you, the main thing is you utilize your personal power, your ability to act, to put yourself in act. Don't talk about it, be about it. And right when you start to be about it, people start telling you, you can't do that. It's not going to work. That's too much. You're not going to be able to come up with the money. And if you get the people, they're not going to want to work. And you know how many people go out of business at? And see, these people I like to call dream stealers. reality stealers. People without dreams of their own, with no reality, are really what it takes to make that work. But the easiest thing for them to do is to talk to you and tell you how what you want to do, how it's not going to work. Understand, that I understand who these people are. Who are they? They're your friends, right? Your next door neighbors, right? Classmates, right? Even your own family. Your mama can be a dream stealer. Not because, you see how he talked about them telling him he couldn't do it? And it's not because they don't love you. They're inflicting a fear, your family, that when it comes to money and success, they like, well, look, you can go out there and quit your job you want to, but don't come and ask me for the money when it don't work. That stuff not going to work, right? But it's what they haven't done that make them comfortable, and they only share with you what it is that they cannot do. So they trying to, through love, tell you it's not going to work. But your friends and family members and associates are telling because they don't want it to happen. Because if it works, now you leave their comfort zone. Now you're not broke like them, living paycheck to paycheck, right? For 2 days off, right? Living 4 weeks out a month for what? 2 weeks off vacation for the year, right? Be told when to come in, when you can leave, and someone who sits 10 desks down from you, been there for 20 years more than you, the difference in your yearly paycheck is $3,000. Is that all you have to look forward to? Well, heck no. Jumpstart your own life. Don't become a slave for somebody else's business unless you like this with them. You can ride or die with somebody, but if you're in that big pool of people and you nowhere near the person who started it, where you can grow with them and help be a reason why rather than why not, you're good. But if you're there in a big pool of people, all you're doing is helping them make their dreams. So, hey, my boss just got a brand new helicopter. Yeah, and you help them get it. Does that make sense? Create your own dreams unless you're working like this with the boss. If you're there with the boss like this, you have a chance. Trust me, it's a company. It's another one of my competitors, a big national company. This particular chain, you all know it. Last year, the guy who started his company is 40 years old. He made $11 billion. He's in the restaurant business, right? And with that being said, him and his wife are not together anymore. She made $4.5 billion. Two of her kids, they have 3 kids. They're all worth $1.5 billion a year is what they make. Okay? Now, how many billions did that company make last year? And it's a company we all know, right? Now, with that being said, when I kept doing my research, I realized I met one of the founding members, but they didn't start the company. They just worked with this gentleman when he first started this amazing concept, right? Today, he's worth almost $100 million. And after talking to some other people, there are like 7 or 8 people who stuck with him. They're now worth 30, 40, $50 million. So again, like right now, if you started something, I know that if I started something, and it got to the point where I made $11 billion, right? Even $1 billion, $500 million. And you guys were working with me. What would I look like? Not making sure that your lives, you've been with me since the beginning, stuck with me.
Right.
And even if you wasn't there from the beginning, whoever didn't believe in me and fell off from the beginning, and y'all just fell in at a good time where I still felt blessed to have you in my company and you believed in what we were doing, I'm gonna make sure, I'm living good. I'm gonna make sure that you living good too. Yeah. That's one of the keys to success. I told you, helping other people. When you get there, it's to bring people with you. But if you work in this giant company,
come on now,
thousands of people, you only as important as that daggone file cabinet back to find somebody else to replace your behind. That's what your paycheck represents, right? The more people that's in that file cabinet, the less you're worth. And that's why brain surgeons make so much, because they're hard to replace. Does that make sense? Yes. Does that make sense? So you have to understand at some point, the only way is either to link up with somebody that has a groundbreaking concept like this podcast. Does that make sense? And get with them, link into them, and stick with them, or you create it yourself and find real people around you. Now, when you do it such, people gonna stab you in your back. They're gonna let you down, but that's human nature. Exactly. Don't let that stop you. Just keep going.
Now, Trace, you said you had something in regards to food. You wanted to.
One that you took it. I wanted to know how did he get there, and how does he stay there?
Yes.
How did he actually get?
It's a great story how I got here. I came with an idea at the meeting, 2 gentlemen on a plane who own,
This is your first restaurant?
restaurant ever.
Okay.
And they had a chain, this now national chain, and they were just getting started. And they said, "You're a sharp young man." We sat by them. And, you know, I'm a minority and they're not. And we talked all the way coming from California to the DC area. And they said, "Look, here's our card, and we're gonna send you some information. We're looking for some people in this area, the Mid-Atlantic region, to take this concept." And I told them about my dad, and I was interested one day, because I went to school to be a dentist.
Right.
You know, but I was like, you know, this is interesting. I kept it. And then one day, about 3 years later, I was at the Department of Motor Vehicles way out in Maryland. One time, you had to go to Glen Burnie for everything.
I remember.
Yeah, you had to go way out in Glen Burnie. And I had to go out there, and I saw my very first of this particular concept. And they had a parade. I said, "Oh my God, that's the thing they told me about." It was a freestanding unit. I never seen it before. But I had the brochures they sent me. So quite naturally, I called them up, and they told me, "Look, when we talked to you before, you could have got involved for about $200,000. But now it's $2 million."
Ooh,
Wow.
What was the time between?
About 3 years.
Okay.
He said, because now we're not building inline restaurant. That means in a shopping center, strip center, inside, inline. You got to buy a whole building, kind of like McDonald's, and put it like that. And I was like, wow, well, I don't have $2 million. He said, well, get back to us when you do. So I thought it was cool. They being nice to me when they thought they needed me. They thought I'd be a good candidate. They saw I was enthusiastic, but they was like, no, not now. You know? So I went to another group that's not around no more that was trying to copy them.
Okay.
Right? 2 celebrities got together and copied them. Very powerful celebrities. And it did well for a while, but they fell off. And when they saw I was a little young guy and a minority, they was like, what? Over the phone, I was good. But in person, no. So that made me mad. The greatest revenge, guys, is to become successful. And that's when I came up with the idea. I had my sales group. I had a sales team. I did a direct sales company out of downtown Silver Springs. And we sold all kinds of stuff. I mean, we were rocking and roll. I sold insurance first, and we just going from one thing to the next thing. Don't ever be afraid to pivot, you know?
Okay.
And I know when I first started selling kids' books and toys on the street, going door to door, people laughed at me.
I remember.
But they wasn't laughing when I had a Rolls Royce.
Hold on. So if you're going door to door, let's just role play real quick for somebody going door to door. So how would you a book? Was it a book?
No, I had kids' books, toys. We sold during Valentine's Day. I bought like 25,000 roses. We sold fresh roses on the street. We sold watches, pens, bath oils.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we just walk up to people with like little rollers. You ever seen the people with those roller bags?
Yeah.
And they sell you stuff for between $6 to $25 on the street. I had a big team, about 100 people. They did that every day. We met at an office, and we had a warehouse, and then we get their merch. We called it merch. Put it in a bag and just hit the streets. Go door to door.
Get out of here. I never knew that.
Was that like back in the 80s?
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. I remember that.
Yeah, you see that all the time. People selling that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And my friends laughed at me, said it wasn't gonna work, but it worked. So I basically did that, and I got mad at this company. I said, I got my own concept. I'm gonna do it myself. So I went to the owner of the building where I was, told him my concept, and he liked it. And I could draw, and I drew what it was gonna look like, and I called it the Carolina Kitchen. And the guy who owned the building said, "Lance, I like that concept, son."
Could you cook already?
Yeah, well, I used to cook for young ladies in college. That was my experience. And I started cooking as a kid because my father always cooked for my mom. My father always cooked for my mom. So I would, first time I cooked on my own, I was like 6, 7 years old, and I got in trouble for touching the stove on a Sunday morning while my parents was in bed cooking them some burned up eggs and bacon, right? And I got in so much trouble, but I caught them laughing because they couldn't believe I actually went in and stood on a chair and made
There you go.
I wasn't supposed to touch the stove. I thought I was doing something good, but it got me in trouble, but I caught them laughing. I can't believe so. At that point, my father started teaching me because he cooked for my mother all the time. So by the time I got to college, I was ready. I would meet somebody and say, "How you doing? What's your name?" "Oh,
Can I
Kim."
cook for you?
"Hey, Kim, I cook you dinner tonight." She'd be like, "Woo!" And after all the oodles noodles, everybody said yes. Like, and I cook the same thing, fried chicken, right? Some broccoli and cheese in the bag, right? some rice, Uncle Ben's, right? Some macaroni cheese, right? Some Kool-Aid. And if she was fine, I put ginger ale in the Kool-Aid.
That's how you knew you was fine. You got some
And
ginger ale.
and she was wiping material. I put a little lemon in there, you know? You put a little lemon in there, you know? She was like, she got the regular Kool-Aid.
She got the regular Kool-Aid.
Man, what? And they be like, you didn't make this. I'm like, yes, I did. It tastes so good. You sure your mother didn't make this? No, I made this. You know?
It tastes like
And
ginger ale.
so I was cooking so long that by the time I got to the restaurant business, I knew how to cook. And my grandmother was an amazing cook. And she came in, she was up in her 80s. And she couldn't hardly walk around. She helped a little bit, but you know, it was driven by her love for me. And the fact my father always wanted to be in the restaurant business. The man gave me a chance. He gave me a year's free rent.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
okay.
So I had a year to get this place together, and it was a restaurant was there. It was a Mexican restaurant. It went out of business years before I got in the building. I just kept seeing it empty, so I went to them, and it was in downtown Silver Spring, Cold Spring Road. Never forget this. And I got the building, and I ran out of money because I was paying cash for everything I was doing with the money I was making through the direct sales company. And I went and told my staff, we got to make some more money. We're getting close to opening. So it came to this idea to go to the Olympics in 1996. So I took a bunch of money, and I bought like about 25,000 baseball caps, certified Olympic caps. And I got down to the Olympics in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, and we sold all the way there. Now, when we left, I had about 50 young people with me.
So
right?
let me say this. So, guys,
This is amazing.
so you had no money. You on the brink, no cash, and
I was
you
running out of cash.
You were running out of cash, but you still invested in 25,000
Yes.
baseball caps.
Well, I got to tell you something. The way I was able to do that, I forgot about one part of that. Maybe 6 to 8 months before that, it was something called the Million Man March. And I came up with this idea to make these T-shirts. It said erase racism. And I made the Million Man March of like a businessman, one with a hard hat, a little kid, and all these men walking, and the silhouette of Washington, D.C. behind it. So I designed that, and I just got a silk screen, and I got like gazillion shirts. I already had a sales force. Mm-hmm. So it was funny because I had friends that was in a T-shirt business that slept. They didn't think a million people was gonna come. Mm-hmm. I just knew they were. And I never forget when the shirts came into my office that day, and it was thousands of them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I came with the idea 2 weeks before the Million Man March. The day before the Million March, they delivered the shirts. My heart was pumping Kool-Aid. Because I was like, I've never seen that many T-shirts in my life. And I didn't think we could, I was like, oh my God. So when the sales reps came back into the field, I had been talking about, we're going to sell these shirts. It's going to be a million people.
But you always still had that mindset of that it was going to happen.
Yeah, I had it was going to happen. But I also had my mindset, what if the Million Brothers don't show up? I'm stuck up with a million shirts. So I'm in deep trouble. So they came in, I already had all my salespeople already. And they came, the shirts came in so like last minute. The ink on the shirts was still kind of wet. Ooh. But they still pulled apart. So when they came in from the field around 6 o'clock is when everybody came in from out the field, then I would give a motivational speech. And they were excited because they'd been hearing about these shirts. They saw all the different designs, everybody's pumped. So all the rest was coming back, and it was calling the ones that wasn't back. When they came back, everybody took 50 shirts, boom, boom, and put them in their bags, and we went straight out the streets. And when they went, I never forget telling my secretary at the time, she was like, I hope they can sell them shirts, right? I said, I hope so too. I used all my money. So, because I was building a restaurant at the same time, and I had these shirts as I kind of emptied my bank account because I was building the restaurant, and I said, we got to make even more money.
By the time you only had one
exactly. I was trying to flip the money, right? So they get out there on the street. I'll never forget this. And they went out the first time.
1 hour.
Like 60, 65, 80, there was a lot of them. Went out and started selling shirts, and they were pumped, because I always kept them pumped. They came back, like 30 minutes later. They was coming, I'm sold out. I need more. I need more. I was like, what? See, it's people coming down Georgia Avenue, people coming down Colesville. It's people coming in by the 1,000. Every light you go to is people. All the hotels, if we just go to hotels, everywhere we go, there's men coming from all over the country. They all in harmony singing songs. Ooh. I said, what? Take more shirts.
And you really didn't think you were going to sell
it was a lot.
Shirts?
Have you ever seen 50,000 T-shirts at the same time?
But
Yeah.
I'm just
I took-
saying,
I bought 50,000 of them.
I would have been. I mean, I get it. I get it. though.
50,000 shirts.
But-
And when you see 50,000, like I thought I would, but when you see 50,000
That's a
shirts,
lot of shirts.
I mean, we had a giant office. The whole second floor of the building was mine. This building, it was boxes this big, full of T-shirts everywhere you look. When it came back the second and third time, is when I started getting kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
I knew
rid
it,
of these
I knew it, I knew it.
Yeah.
We sold all night with the same clothes on, and by the time the sun came up, I knew I had to go because I bought a booth from, because the Nation of Islam, they basically was security. If you remember that, you know. And I was like, God, I went down there, I had to deal with them, and I bought it, and they said, anybody get caught, you're gonna be in trouble, because you gotta stay in this booth. And the booth cost me like $4,000, right? So I went and bought that from the Nation, and I bought the booth. We get down there, the sun is coming up, and I had a truck two trucks bringing all these T-shirts down. So I had the booth. So first we stayed in the confounds of this booth, which was 10 by 10, right? And was other booths. But the thing that struck me was like, dang, it ain't hardly nobody.
Right, nobody out there.
Like selling, but maybe it's about maybe 50 people selling in this thing for the Nation of Islam. But we were professional salespeople. So when we went down, it was like, hey, my brother, it's so beautiful to be here. I'm from here, I'm from there.
That would have been
I'm
me.
from Africa. And they come here for the million man, we march. We were seeing it, and then as the sun came up a little bit more, it was more. And it was more. And it was more. And we was just selling from the booth, shoot around about 10:30. I was like, go into the crowd. There was so many. I was like, the Nation of Islam can't catch all of us.
Yeah.
Go. So everybody started selling in the crowd.
me ask
But hold
you-
on, I got to tell you about. So by about 2 o'clock, we were sold
I was
out.
about to say you sold out early.
We sold
Because
out.
they got here
I
early.
took my trucks and went back to my warehouse. I said, go get everything. Get kids' toys, books, phones.
Oh my
We just
God.
say Million Man March phones. Million Man March.
He said Million Man March
We
phones.
cleaned the whole warehouse
I
out.
wanna know-
Right, and we sold it out.
What was your investment in the shirts and how much did you make?
Well, that's a secret. But I can tell you this.
okay.
It's not a secret like that, but I'm going to tell you something that'll make you kind of get
What about profit margins?
a lot. A lot. But
I can only
I gave
imagine.
$10.
10
I gave
t-shirts.
I gave $10 to every salesperson.
Okay, okay.
With me?
Per
I'm
shirt,
done. I don't
$10
need to
per
hear
shirt.
And then the team leaders of every group got $3 off of every shirt that they
So
sold.
it's $13 a shirt.
Right?
That's going
Right? And they
out.
sold them for $20.
Yeah, so yeah.
So everybody was happy.
Yeah.
They made a lot of money.
They
But
they
here's the
made
next
more
part.
than you and you still.
No, I still,
you go.
I got a little bit off everybody. but because I invested the money.
Right.
But check this out. After I did that, and we were tired as I don't get out, and we sold the whole warehouse. I had to restock all my products, my merchandise, because we sold everything was Million Man. We just put the word Million Man March in front of everything we sold, and the T-shirt was gone. We gonna sell everything. So of course when it was all
Cell
over,
phones.
we was all like hugging each other. We couldn't believe everybody. So that's when I came up with the idea, because I think a year later, it was the Olympics. A year later. And so I went through a committee with the Olympics, and you had to get in a lottery to get Olympic, so because you can't get caught selling Olympic, and you better not get caught selling fake Olympic stuff.
Oh,
So you
okay,
got to buy the
okay.
expensive stuff with the certificate on it. So I got in the lottery, and I won.
One.
But it was only one problem. The booth that they gave me, here's the Olympic Village and where all the stuff is happening, and downtown, it was all, because so much going on. We were way far by an alley. I came down there about 60 deep with trucks and vans. It could have been a reality show. First thing that got me is when we got in the car, I figured, okay, since I made all this money, man, let me buy all this stuff for the Olympics. Let's do it again, because that's 19 days. That's 19 days instead of 1 day. So if I made all
For
this
the
money
Olympics,
off the
okay.
million, man, we're going to crush it.
I see a movie.
So, this could have been definitely. We get in the car, we pull off. The first thing that got me was when we got in the truck and we drove towards the trucks and the vans, and I got all these young people with me, and we stopped because everybody said, Mr. London, we're hungry. I didn't even configure that. I was like, okay. So I pulled over and I had to feed all these people. I was like,
60 people.
no, you didn't do the move like when you're a kid. I want lobster. They all okay, hamburgers. So I fed them. So we got back in the car and kept driving south. We only got to Richmond when that.
Also, you're not even to
So
Atlanta
we,
yet.
yeah, we in Richmond.
You wouldn't know
But an hour later, they said, "I'm hungry." I'm like, "Oh, 2 hours." I fed them again.
They went from Richmond to
We-
Virginia Beach. They hungry.
We didn't stop.
made some
We,
damn
didn't stop.
sandwiches.
We must have stopped 4 times before we got to Atlanta. And then we slept in the cars, woke up, and kept driving. By the time we get to Atlanta, it was another problem. Didn't even think about it until I got there. There was no hotels.
Oh,
available.
okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
All the hotels
Okay.
were taken. So I had to think quick on my feet. I got all these young people, I got these vans. I got, oh my God.
How many vans you
And
take?
I had 6 vans
6 vans, okay.
and about 8 cars. We had a little
Oh, yeah, you
caravan,
deep.
right?
You deep.
So we get down there, and I had 3 trucks too, full of merchandise, right? Big trucks. So we get down there, right? And there's no place to stay. So I was like, we in trouble. The nearest hotels available is like 400 miles away. Yeah, everything. Oh yeah, everything was taken. Because people from all over the world at the
Yeah,
Olympics.
it's the Olympics.
It's like the Olympics.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean,
And
I
it's
wouldn't
been
think that.
booked up. It was booked
So-
up way before they.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I got to this part. So when I started getting all that food, I would make them sell T-shirts and hats before we ate. That way I can take the profits off of that to help feed.
Okay.
But I didn't figure that in the situation. But it helped. Then when we get there, there's no hotel room. So I said, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've been in these cars
Better call the
for
school.
2 days almost. I went to Morehouse, right?
Just said, better call
And
the
I get,
school.
yeah, I went to I went to Morehouse. And when I got to Morehouse, I think the Russians and somebody in Poland, Russia, and some other country was staying at Morehouse, right? Males and men that was using that for like where they slept at, right? And they had security, and we went towards the front gate. Now, how good is security? I said, no, we need somebody to sleep. We ain't take no bad. So we went around the campus to the backside. I had to use, in the hood, theory. Like, it's got to be a way up in here. Look at all them dorms. There's too many dorms for just like 3 teams. It's a lot of rooms like that. I seen the building. I had been to Morehouse before. So we came through the back, and it was a gate. It was a fence, and it was open. Like, evidently, youngest was coming underneath there. They take a shortcut to get to where they had to go. You know how we do it back in the day. I said, hold on, y'all. I said, oh, y'all stay right here. Right? So I got up underneath the fence.
Southeast
It was
Lands
like-
getting ready to come out.
So it's like dun, 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 dun. I was looking for security. I was looking, dun, 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 and I snuck my way all the way to the dormitory. The first one I went in, dun, dun, try to act like I belonged. Dun, 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 dun. And I was sitting, all the different languages. I'm
Okay.
like, and they knew it was first thing. They probably, it was a black college. And it's a male college, and I'm a male, and I'm black. So they kind of looked at me, but nobody said nothing.
Right.
So then I went on the first floor, and I saw a lot of people. I went on the second floor, I saw a lot of people. But when I got to the third floor,
in one of the buildings.
every door was open. There was nobody in them.
Stop playing.
Nobody. I went to all these.
Come
different-
on.
and nobody. I said, okay, we can stay here. So I went back, walked down around the corner, went across this field, went down this hill, and came back up to the bed. All right, y'all. I got this place we can stay. We're gonna leave everything locked up back here. Yeah, fine, we're gonna go 10 at a time. Okay, the first 10, y'all come with me. And we got to the building. Now,
And you just
stay
walk
in
in
your
like you
room.
belong.
Yeah, and y'all stay in these rooms. I put the first 10 in. It was 2 or 3 in the room. And we got the next one. And by the time I got everybody's rooms, I told everyone around every room, don't nobody come out their room for nothing.
right.
Don't nobody come until I come and get you in the morning and take your shower. Don't nobody. Then I stayed in my room, got up early, got everybody up one at a time and said, I'm gonna go see how we can take these showers real quick. And I found a shower where nobody was at. And we all took showers in turn. And all the guys and all the girls. And then we got dressed and we went back to the trucks and I was like, yes.
Lance, you're a true leader, bro.
Right? And then we
Sure
went
is.
out into the field and
I
we
love
started
it.
selling, right? And so I watched, we had to have security watch, so I watched the trucks. They know how to sell. So I'm sitting, it's hot too. So I saw this truck. This guy was selling these things. You squeeze like that, and they got water in it, and they fans. I said, well, I bought one. So the guy had like a whole truckload of them. I said, look, can I buy like 2,000?
You know what I'm saying?
And he said,
I'm
so
seeing him thinking
he said,
now.
well, I'm selling for $10. I said, what if I buy, a couple thousand of them? And I give him to you for $3. I bought all of them off of him, put them in my truck, and I gave them to my reps. And we sold those for $20.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So I make money on them. So right when we stopped rolling, and everybody getting happy too. When we snuck back, we got so bold. We were standing at the Olympic Village thing, right? That we got so bold, we was going to breakfast with them. Like they had
the Olympics,
with the Olympians. we was eating breakfast with the Russians. We was eating breakfast.
Lance,
right?
when I tell the story,
Right.
you were sitting down with Karl Malone and Michael Jordan. Yeah, for the Olympics. When I tell the story,
Right. I was with Russia. I'll tell you, they couldn't understand us. We couldn't understand, but the food was good. We was eating. So look,
Ate for free and everything.
we eat for free. I ain't got to pay for the food. We eating the food in the cafeteria, wherever that was, in Morehouse. Then we go back out every day. Then everybody got a little bit more. We started being creative. My team started coming back to me. Dr. London, do you mind? What? Look what we got. Like about 8, 9 of them came back. They had a giant, pretty Olympic bags with sweatsuits, tennis shoes. I said, what's that? I said, we stood in line to be volunteers at this meet and that meet. Yeah, we can do all the meets. We can sell in the meets, but we'll put the t-shirts and hats in the bag, but then we'll go and work as volunteers. And I'll be there. They would come back at the end of the day,
You taught
sold a
them
couple hundred
very
shirts.
well.
They know how to sneak in. They got into all. I went to boxing. Oh, I went to the track and field. We was going to all the stuff. And they would come back. I sold 300 shirts. So they was volunteers. Just for volunteers, they pay you, but they gave you a sweatsuit and they gave you the bag. So now they all got these Olympic suits on, just like the Olympians.
Yes.
With the bag, but they got our T-shirts that they selling in the venue, looking like they're fishing. Right?
They need to be your team leaders.
But then it happened. That bomb went off. Remember that? That
Oh,
bomb
yeah, downtown.
in 1996.
Yes,
that bomb went
at
off.
the water park.
And when the bomb went off, everything tightened up. It was so bad. And this is the thing. At the Million Man March, everybody slept at. So we down there. It might have been, it's a million cats out there. It might have been 12 people selling 10 shirts. It's all everybody went to sleep on that. But the Olympics, everybody was selling hats. 7-Eleven was selling hats. The gas station was selling hats and
7-Eleven.
t-shirts. People selling hats from their house, people. Old ladies was selling, come on, everybody. So it was like the exact opposite. So we had to work even harder to sell that stuff. But when the bomb happened, it just changed. So that night we got together and had a meeting. Now, can you imagine it's like a movie? I'm giving speeches to the reps. They would all sit on the curb, and I had this thing I sat on. We gotta do this. Don't worry about it. The bomb went up, but they didn't blow us up. We just gotta blow them up with these sales. I'm giving all this meeting,
Motivational
right?
speeches.
And they like, yes sir, yes sir. So we went out, and it was the worst day we ever had after that bomb went up. So I had to think of something. I said, all right, we moving. We're gonna drive down, because this is like 19 days. We're gonna drive down south. So we drove and started selling all the way down through Florida. And we stopped at a place I had never been at. We stopped at Jackson. I remember we left there and went to Jackson Beach. Then we went to Daytona Beach.
The whole caravan.
The whole caravan. We was stopping at beaches, taking showers. It was still a movie. We were sleeping on the beach.
I need some photos. Yeah,
we were sleeping on the beach,
phenomenal,
and
bro.
we were taking showers because the beach had showers. So we was taking showers, and we would just sleep out in the open and see the stars, and it was just amazing.
I don't want to cut you off, but I gotta ask you this before I forget. So after all of that, and you can go back to it. So after all of that, did you make the money that you needed to make for your restaurant? Because you were still in the process of your restaurant.
Good question. Great question. No, I lost money. Because what I did with the Million Man March, right? I thought I needed way more merch because the fact it was 19 days. And I took the money from the Million Man March, right, and invested more into the restaurant. And then I took a bunch, going double or triple that up at the Olympics.
Okay.
But the bomb went off, and we tried to sell it all the different states, and it didn't work. Everybody was too concerned about the bomb. Nobody wanted merch, and when we got to the other cities, everybody was selling Olympic stuff too. Unlike, so we was competing with everybody. We had the real stuff. So when we went back, we probably sold maybe 15 to 20%, because that happened a few days after we were there.
I remember.
And it was a 19-day event, and we couldn't sell like we normally sell. So I'm coming up with all this stuff. I just said, let's go home. And by the time we went home, it's only like 2 or 3 days left of the Olympics. This is what happened. This is deep. Pay attention. We get back, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I know that I gotta get this restaurant open in about 2 weeks. One day before I left, I met this lady, and this lady saw me coming out the restaurant. And I told her, she was so nice, I gave her a tour. It's gonna be this, and this is where the ovens are, and this, and she said, I'm so proud, I see all these young people. So you own that company with all the young people saying, sir, yes, sir, coming, son, and all that stuff? I said, yes, ma'am, I am so proud of you. And you open this restaurant? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, they're so professional, this is so amazing.
Man, ask
She's an
your
older lady.
age back then.
I was old enough. I'm still a young man.
You are young.
35 not that old.
No, I
35
wasn't.
But see, you're going to have to tell all of this when your movie come out.
I couldn't have been no more than about 15. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
And,
whatever.
I'm
That
only
means 25.
now.
Okay.
So look, so then the lady said, this is so nice. I'm so proud of you. So when I came back, I was a little down because I lost so much money, right? I bought all this stuff cash, right? So then what I did was this. I knew I only had a few days left. So she sees me again. And the restaurant's supposed to open the next day.
Okay.
And she said, you ready for your big day? And what I had done is I had given for like 8 months all my reps a little piece of paper about this size. It couldn't have been no bigger than this, right? And that little paper said, if a restaurant was open downtown Silver Spring, what type of restaurant would you want to be? Hamburgers, hot dogs, Mexican, Asian, or Southern cuisine? A, B, C, D, like that. And they put Southern cuisine. What color would you like to see your restaurant inside? Pink and this and that, yellow and red. They went out. How much do you pay for lunch when you go out? $2, $3, $5, $6. What restaurant are you freaking right now in downtown Silver Spring? McDonald's went out. Okay? And at the end of all these questions, do you like your food baked, grilled, fried? Grill one. So at the end, it had something down there. Thank you for your questionnaire and filling this out. And it had down there your name, your phone number, your cell phone number, your home phone number, and a new thing called emails. It was brand new. And only maybe 1/3 of the people had an email. Everybody knew what it was. And every day, I gave $30 to the rep who brought the most of those filled out. And we did it for 8 months. I had thousands of them. Because you were down there by downtown Silver Springs. And then 2 weeks before we opened, hello, Miss Smith, how you doing? Yeah. You took a survey for a restaurant. Okay, the name of it's going to be the Carolina Kitchen, and it's going to be opened up on this day, such and such. And for coming, you're going to get a free soda and 10% off your meal. It's going to be this Thursday, da. So we had done that for a while, for at least 2 weeks. That's what 2 young ladies just called all of them, right? Yeah. The day I was supposed to open, the next day I see the lady, but I was short. I had the money to build the restaurant I just made it to that. Because we were selling our buzzer. Because I was like giving speech, we got to sell. I need more money. We got to get this restaurant open, right? And I never forget, that morning, the day before, the non-perishable comes. That's the stuff, the seasonings came in. And that bill was like $20-something thousand. Okay? And later on, like about 3 hours later, the big truck came for the perishable. That's the meats and stuff like that. That was $15,000, right? And that was a lot of money to me back then. Not literally, but when I look back, that same food probably cost $35,000 a day or more. But it was $15. And I didn't have it. I spent the last money I had to my name in life. Because
Who was the lady?
So this is what happened. So I see the truck. I tell the man I don't have it. I said, can you come back later on? I don't know why I told him that. I just said, come back later on. He said, well, you better come because I'm COD.
This is a poultry man.
Yeah. Well, not just poultry, all meat.
All the meat, okay.
He said, well, you better have it, man. I'm going to do you that favor because you're a brother. I'm going to come on back. Normally I would. But you scheduled to open, I'm going to do that for you. I didn't know what I was going to do. So when he left, I'm in the restaurant going, what am I going to do? I'm out of money. I'm broke. I walked out looking a little sad. And who did I bump into? That same lady. And she sees me. Wow. She said,
come on now.
What's wrong with you, son?
Come on now. Come on now.
I said, I don't think I'm going to open tomorrow. She said, why? So I told her, look, the truck just came and I could pay for the non-perishables, but I couldn't pay for the other truck. What? So I think I'm going to have to push it back. She said, what are you talking about? I said, I just don't have the money. Well, how much is it? I said, $15,000. She said, oh, that's a shame. She said, oh, keep your face up. I said, yeah, I'm going to keep it. You're such a nice young man. I said, thank you, ma'am. Where you going now? I said, well, my office. oh, yes, right, your office is upstairs in this building. I said, yes, ma'am. So about an hour and a half later, I'm in my office, and my secretary says, Mr. London. I said, yes. He said, a lady came here. She wants to see you. I said, what lady? She said, I don't know. She's an older lady. And I said, bring her back. So she brought her from the other side of the building into my office. And it was a lady. She said, hey. And she said, she put a brown paper bag on front of the table. She said, look inside that bag. I said, what? And I looked in there.
Come on, man.
And she
No,
said-
no,
I said,
no, no. Come
And
on
she
now.
pulled it out.
Come
She
on.
said, that's $15,000.
Woo!
I said,
Woo!
I cannot take that. I cannot take that money. I can't do it. She was like, you gotta take it. I said, no, I can't take it. She said, you gotta take it. I said, ma'am, I cannot take it. You gotta take it. I said, ma'am, I cannot take it. She said, look, I'm not taking it. She said, I'm older. I'll be retiring soon. And I'm just so proud to see a young man. They got these young people being so professional. They have manners. I love what you're doing. I love your attitude. I don't have nothing. I got money to retire if I'm getting ready to retire. Very. Take the money. I said, no. We started pushing back and forth. No, yes, no, yes, no. And finally, I was like, okay, I promise I'll pay you back. And I paid. When the man came back, I had the money. And the next day I opened. And when I came the next day.
This was your first one.
This first one. And then the next day when I opened, I'll never forget this. It was a line from the front door, down the sidewalk, up the hill, and around the building. I got that on film. I think I had like, that first day, at least 350, 400 people outside waiting to get in. Because that marketing I had done made
That's how you do
everybody
it.
come.
Are
They
you
didn't
still
even
keeping
pay
it?
for
How
it.
are you still doing? Are you still actively? How do you keep your sauce shopping as far as marketing? Do you continue to study, or what do you?
You ever notice that certain things, right? They don't do a whole lot of marketing anymore. That's not me, but most people. Let's say like, have you ever seen a Cheesecake Factory commercial? No. Why? At this point, they don't feel they have to.
Right.
Never seen it. McDonald's will flip opposite. You flip over to a company that's trying to catch McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, exact opposite. We believe in God, and we think God is important, so we're not going to open on Sundays. And we're going to give you all kinds of great customer service and speed of service. You can go and get in the line at Chick-fil-A. It could be 100 cars in line, but in 5 minutes, you're in front of that daggone thing getting your food, right? And accuracy. You know what? You can go to, I can keep naming them. I can name a couple more. Wendy's, right? It could care less what's in your bag when you're home.
Correct.
You know? Popeyes, all that. It could care less. But Chick-fil-A, when you go through that line, right? Whatever you order, they know your name, and it's going to be exactly what you order when you get home. Because of that, the market share of Chick-fil-A is constantly growing, and eventually they're going to catch Popeye. I mean, all of them. Even though they started pretty much after them. I'm talking about their national growth.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So different concepts, restaurant-wise, have different methodologies as it relates to their marketing. To Chick-fil-A, our marketing, first and foremost, is our customer service.
Okay.
But we still have marketing with the cow, buy more chicken. You with me? So we know that, right? Cheesecake Factory said our marketing at the time was so different. We're so different with the name Cheesecake Factory. And when we were younger, we still all young, but Cheesecake Factory was different. It was a different build out. It was so unique. It was always a 3-hour wait, 2.5 hour wait.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Every time you went in there. But now today, it's not so much. But they still know why. Not that I'm being a sidearm consultant, because the younger people don't know Cheesecake Factory like when we were coming up.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Correct, yes.
When we coming, that was new. Then we all talked about it, we knew it. And they're not reaching to grasp that younger clientele. So now we go to Cheesecake Factory, 9 times out of 10, we can get a table just like that. It was no time we could go to Cheesecake Factory and get a table. And because of that, their numbers have come down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Why? Because the people that ran it, they all got older. Because time, no matter how we look at it, it's moving, it's going fast.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't keep up with the time, remember when I talked about McDonald's earlier? How they start changing their marketing concepts as things started changing in America? Everything was good moves. Even them starting a program for minorities. That was smart because that was who spending the most money in McDonald's.
yeah.
Why not concentrate and go into urban neighborhoods and pop McDonald's? Them the highest grossing McDonald's was those. Does that make sense? So what do? I learned from all of them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Quite naturally, I can't do $3 billion in commercials.
Right.
And commercial advertisement on television, right, is so expensive nowadays, right, that it's very difficult to be profitable if you do the kind of commercials on television. But right now, because hairstyles change, clothing styles change,
Yes.
slogans change, the way we do things change, right? The way products and services are marketed change. Hint, the internet. Does that make sense? Marketing on Facebook, marketing on Instagram, TikTok. You with me? Marketing on YouTube. You with me? These are things that really don't cost money as much as it takes techniques. It's very much it's technique. So now what I'm doing is I'm building up and trying to learn more about things that we didn't really think was that important.
Yes.
Thank God for me, when I used to do TV commercials, before they rose so high, and I still can do them. I've been in business so long now, I've been in business for 30 years.
Okay.
So in the 30 years, I built up in this region such a name, the Carolina Kitchen, where you get your chicken and much, much more, right? That so many people know that name that it keeps it busy.
It's relevant.
Right? So when people come, we do the welcome, which I did that when the first customer came in, the very first restaurant that day when that lounge around the street, the lady said to me, looked me right in the face, I opened the door, she went, what time y'all open? I said, 11 o'clock, man. She said, it's 11:05. Black people must own this. I was like, oh my God. No, she didn't say that. Scared me to death. And I was like, welcome. That's all I could think of. And I said that all day from that day to this day.
So that's how that came about.
That's how it came about. I said, well, and when people was leaving, I said, thanks for coming, see you tomorrow. I said that. It's like a lot of people, I ain't coming tomorrow, but the next day they right back tomorrow, taste that food, they right back the next day. It worked. Thanks for coming, see you come.
Silver Spring was the first one.
I like that.
Silver Spring.
The very first one, yeah.
Now how many years?
And then, well, Silver Spring,
Worldwide.
2004, a Mexican restaurant burned down. That was our neighbor. Burned the whole building down. I was done. Somebody said, he probably burned that bit. Why am I burning a successful business down? Which is stupid. That's just people talking ignorant. Jukebox caught on fire. He wired and burned the whole building. And it was a dentist place that made false teeth. They had these tanks that blew up and blew the whole building up. So now I had to fight the insurance company, and they wouldn't pay me. So here I'm with no
This is for
money.
your first building.
For the first, so I had nothing. So then I had to figure out a way. And I'm not doing direct sales no because I'm too busy learning. Restaurant business is nothing to play with. So I'm in there learning it from scratch, but nobody helped me. And I'm in there every day, 7 days a week. I have the only key, working 18 to 20 hours a day, just doing what I had to do.
Come on,
right?
Come on.
And I never forget this. When the building burned down, I was like just starting to learn it, right? And the insurance company wouldn't pay for it, so now I'm short. So I had to do the next thing. I never forget. I was like almost tears in my eyes. I went across the street, and it was a new shopping center across the street, and they wouldn't give me an opportunity. With me, that new shopping center is right across the street from downtown Silver Spring, where the Panora Bread is and all that other stuff is right there across the street. And that used to be nothing. They turned that into something. They wouldn't give me an opportunity. And I went, and I sat in a restaurant, and right across me, and she didn't even know, was the very first customer. And I never. She told me when she said, must be black people.
Okay.
She said,
This is
I'm the first customer. You better always remember. Every time she come in, she said, I'm the first customer you ever had. And then she saw me sitting there looking like I was looking, trying to keep a good attitude because everything was gone. She said, I'm the first customer that ever came. I said, I hadn't seen her in like 3 years. She said, I moved away. I'm just here today. How's everything going? I said, well, you know what, Bern? She said, what? She said, oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. So I saw her the day after. Right? Very first customer, right? So then, after that, right? After that, I didn't know what I was gonna do. But I kept my attitude great because I always keep a great attitude, and so I applied at 3 black-owned banks
Okay.
and 3 European banks. And thankful for me, Every one of those banks approved me within 48 hours.
All 6 of them?
Which shocked me because I never went for a business loan in my life. And it was only because everybody that was making the decision to give me what we call an offer letter.
Okay.
You know, it's called an intent letter to do business with you. You still got to check your credit, this and that. They had 8 in at the Carolina Kitchen in Silver Spring.
Ooh.
And they knew that the car, and they heard about it burning down. So everybody grew. So now it's not about whether I can get the money. It's about picking the one with the right interest rate. And I end up choosing an African-American owned bank. Got a good interest rate. A good guy that was the vice president of loans. I worked with him, and a year and a half later, I opened up Largo. And I did the whole process. I went knocking on doors this time. And we took about 10 of us telling people we got this new restaurant, take this survey. And I did it all over again. And the day I opened the Largo, can't make this up, it's like 300-400 people every day. And
How many surveys do you, how many surveys you think did you do before you opened up the Largo one?
Largo one, we didn't do as many as Silver Springs because I had a team of like 60, 70 people doing it every day, and I was giving 30. Largo, we probably did about 2,000.
2,000.
We did it every
was your
weekend.
second one? Okay, I
That was our
didn't
second
know.
one. We did
Okay, I didn't know. I
Yeah.
thought that was.
And the lines were out. I never forget this. Every day was a line. First day was a line going past Magic Johnson Theater. All
It
the way
used
down,
to be packed
right?
in there.
It still
I
is.
I
packed.
went there a couple of times.
It still is packed.
Well, I
Well,
You don't live here anymore?
man,
Oh my God, it's packed. I can show you videos right now. blow your mind.
Ooh-wee.
It's super, super.
I know it's one down
duper
there
packed.
too, down in
Brandywine.
Brandywine.
That one's packed.
oh yeah. Well, guys, look, I've got to find the fire extinguisher, so because we got to cool this one down right here. So, but if people, because with two things, I want to make sure that they understand and they know. Can you share with them why I'm going to get our 60 seconds? We're going to end this on the 60 seconds of fire, where we just do some rapid fire, like 5 questions, rapid fire. Can you let our people know how can they see your new?
Oh, the new restaurants. I have a whole lot. I have the Carolina Kitchen, world famous Southern cuisine with plant-based options on Central
that's
Avenue.
me.
Central Avenue, right?
Us.
Yeah.
Plant-based. Oh yeah, I saw that
Plant-based.
video.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that's gonna open in June, which is a couple months away from now. It's a beautiful concept. Is one side of the restaurant is regular, everyday, not every day, but amazing Southern cuisine. On the other side is Southern cuisine plant-based.
That's my
okay,
kind of food.
it's gonna be
Plant-based.
amazing. That's opening up in June on Central Avenue in Hampton Park Shopping Center. Okay. Shortly thereafter, right here down the street in Vista, right across from Vista Gardens, there's a brand new, giant, amazingly big Carolina Kitchen Sea and Soul. It's gonna be Southern cuisine and seafood, all kinds of amazing seafood dishes and the old favorites that we cook, but we got some magnificent crab legs, lobster, all kinds of lobster and crab dishes, crab cakes, real chunky crab. Oh my goodness, we can't wait for Sea and Soul. Next door to Sea and Soul, God allowing, took me a year and a half to get a license to be the very first African American ever in Prince George's County to have a liquor store.
Stop playing.
So right next to Sea and Soul,
Sea and Soul.
connected. It's a door to take you in the Carolina Kitchen, and the liquor store is right next to it.
Sea and Soul.
You can see it right. We can walk to it from where we at right now. in the
Oh
studio.
my God.
You know? So it'll be a liquor store where I'm going to highlight African American manufacturers of spirits. Because there's a lot in this area that make spirits, but these liquor stores won't highlight it. They put them all the way up on the shelf, way in the back. That's even the
a
thing.
lot of them.
So, I'm not going to just have one liquor store. I'm going to have 2. I got approved. I'm getting ready to get approved. It took me a year and a half. Going up to Capitol Hill, going to Annapolis, shaking hands, letting them know the concept.
Kissing babies.
And it's because they don't want any more liquor stores in Prince George's County.
Oh,
Hasn't
okay.
been in 16 years. So I would be the first, okay? And it's sad. I wish there'd be more, but they're not really, they don't want. And there's a reason why, which I get into. If you meet me, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
But it's a true blessing. I appreciate all the people who understood what I was going to try to bring to the community. And 2, the liquor stores are in beautiful areas that need service for spirits, wine, etc. And they're gonna be classy. They're not gonna be not selling no paraphernalia for weed and all that kind of stuff. They can go someplace for all that. This is gonna be about wines and spirits, and some other little things I'm gonna surprise you with.
Okay.
But it's connected to the actual C&So. So I have that one. Then I have my very first Carolina Kitchen Express, but it's pretty big though. It's gonna be in Owens Mills in Baltimore. Very first one. So I'm excited about that Carolina Kitchen. It's coming in Owens Mills. It's right there where Owens Mill Mall, they knocked it down. They built this outdoor place called Mill Station. Beautiful shopping center. With the big boys is me, Pan Express, Chick-fil-A, and Starbucks together, okay? Right together, us, right in front of the movie theater, okay?
Oh, wow.
So I'm excited about that. Then I have a brand new Carolina Kitchen
Girl.
Steakhouse, Southern Cuisine and Steakhouse. And that one is off of 301 Upper Marlboro, like when you at, where Walmart is, you come down 301, you see that Wawa? Across from Wawa is 150 acres that's been knocked down and building development with all luxury condominiums, luxury houses, all this. It's gonna be over close to 3,000 homes. And they coming up already.
Okay.
They got a luxury apartment building, luxury condominium building. They have a sports arena that they're gonna have UFC fights and all that other stuff and wrestling, in there. Then they have all
This is
these
before you get to
football
Crofton?
fields.
This is before
Yeah, way
Crofton?
before.
Yeah, it's way
Crofton's
before
gone
that.
way up there.
Crofton is
It's okay. You know how
It's where the
here's
Wawa.
you know what the
Not that far
Wawa.
from the BJ.
You know what the Wawa is?
In Bowie?
On 301.
Okay, yeah.
Right. It's right down. Like if you at where where the Walmart is. If you're coming back towards you're going towards Brandywine.
Okay.
When you go down, you see it's a Wawa on the left hand side.
Yes.
Across from that Wawa.
Oh, I know
it's
exactly
all
what
that
you're talking
trees
about.
and
I know
it's already there.
Yes.
It's getting ready to come. So it's gonna be a new supermarket, all these beautiful standalone restaurants, and I'm right there with a giant, big Carolina Kitchen, right? It's gonna have a little bit of everything in it, and then I have another liquor store sitting beside it. You can get into that again.
We might have to do
Okay.
our tailgate party. We do a tailgate party every year. We might have to do it at Carolina.
Yeah, we have a cigar bar that's gonna be in there, a bar. It's gonna be really, really nice. I'm really excited about it. So
I'm
that was
excited about the plant-based.
Plant-based is coming. And we've been
excited
working
about
at plant-based for 4 years. And we got something, when we off this show, I'm gonna show y'all some of the pictures of the brand new plant-based food. It's exciting. It's
I
really,
can't
really-
wait. I'm down for that.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna hit this on 60 seconds. You probably answered most of these questions already in the in the podcast. So, what would you consider your biggest but in life? And when I say but, this I would have been here, but everybody has a but in life. What do you believe your biggest but in life is?
I would already be a billionaire times 5, but I didn't invest in Bitcoin. Hello.
Woo!
I should have seen it when it coming. I just didn't do it. I wish I would have, could have, should have. If I could do it all over again, I would get Bitcoin all the way.
What do you believe? Well, and we all know what assets are. Your watch, your car, your house, all of these assets that we quote unquote have. What do you believe your greatest invisible asset is? Meaning kindness, generosity, peace. What do you believe your greatest invisible asset is that people can't see?
People can't see all the individuals that I've been blessed enough to help and develop them and change their lives. It's almost not a day that goes by, especially when I'm in public, that people don't walk up to me that I've affected them by sharing with them some of the methods and thinking that I have. Or some of them have worked close to me, some of them worked even closer. Some have been involved with companies that I developed or came to see me speak at events and actually said, hey, you changed my life. Because of you, I'm here now. Because of you now, I think like this instead of thinking like that. And I think one of my assets is my ability to not only touch and move people, but to get them to act on their thoughts. And that's a gift.
Last two, and I already know this answer because you already said it. What motivates you more in life? Is it money? Is it love? Or is it impact?
God. Because I understand that, and everything I post, I always go God before anything. And the reason I say that is because you can go in business, but if you go in business without God, you're going out of business.
Woo!
Does that make sense? So I think more than anything is God. And behind God, of course, is your family and your health. And then after that, let's go make some money. In that order.
And all right, and the last one. Finish this statement, this sentence. Life is about blank.
Life is about understanding, not too much too fast. It happens when it's meant to happen. Your time will come in time, but don't expect too much too fast. Life is about setbacks. Life, I told you, is about adversities. But when you think you figured out life is when you haven't figured out, because you'll never totally figure it out. So all you can do is keep a great attitude, keep believing, and keep achieving, because in time, inch by inch, it's a cinch.
Woo! Oh, we said it all. We said it all. Hey, Tracy, would like to add anything?
No, I don't. That was powerful. Very, very, very.
And I want to say,
Very.
once, maybe twice in your lifetime, an opportunity will come along that can change your entire life. And if you're over 30 years of age, most likely the first opportunity has already surpassed you. But the $1 million question is, will you know it when you see it? God bless you all, and we'll see you at the top of success. God bless you.
Woo! This is your partner, Frankie P. And remember, when you change your perspective, you change your life. We're here for the BS of Entrepreneurship podcast. You change your perspective, you change your life. When you change your perspective, see it, believe it, achieve it. Dr. Lance London, we are on fire. Guess what, guys? You're going to change your life. Peace.